Hey everybody, welcome to another deep dive.
Yes.
This time we're looking at a list of famous Capricorns
Oh, yeah.
from the Top 10's website. Top 10, huh?
Mm.
Pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to learn from all this? Are we going to find, like, the secrets to Capricorn success?
Ooh.
Or maybe just some fun birthday buddies for,
Yeah.
let's find out.
Okay, so right away, I noticed that this isn't just some random collection of famous people. This list was made by somebody who shares a birthday, January 7th, with the Black Veil Brides guitarist Jinx.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they even mentioned it in the intro. Makes you think.
Yeah.
Did that, like, personal connection change their choices at all?
Totally. It just adds another layer to this whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of intrigue, we should talk Capricorn dates, right? We're talking December 21st to January 19th.
Okay.
Ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure, and grounded in Earth. These folks are often known for their practicality and ambition. And, well, let's be real, sometimes a little serious.
All right, so maybe not the life of the party, but definitely the ones getting stuff done.
Oh, for sure.
And this list proves that they get things done in a ton of different areas.
Yeah.
Right away, we've got Tiger Woods, born December 30th, 1975. If anyone embodies that relentless Capricorn drive, it's got to be him.
Right.
And then Jim Carrey, born January 19th, 1962. Now, that's interesting, right? A comedian, known for his over-the-top energy, but also someone who's talked a lot about his struggles with depression. Does that even fit the typical Capricorn mold?
I mean, it's a really interesting contradiction, isn't it? And maybe it shows how complex any sign can be. Capricorns are often associated with ambition and achievement, which can come with a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And Carrie's journey, the comedic highs and the personal lows, might just show us that duality in a really deep way.
Wow. Okay. I'm already seeing how we can go deeper with this.
Right.
And then there's Marilyn Manson, born January 5th, 1969. Talk about pushing boundaries. Does that shock rock persona fit the Capricorn image?
Well, Capricorns are known for their ambition, but that ambition can show up in different ways, you know? Some go for traditional success, while others, like Manson, they challenge the whole idea of success, pushing buttons and finding their own unique path. It's that Saturn influence again, always looking for structure, even if it's unconventional.
So maybe it's less about fitting a mold and more about using that Capricorn drive to achieve whatever they think is success.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so the list also has these sections called newcomers and contenders.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with that? Is this like a Capricorn talent show where people are fighting for the top spot?
It kind of does feel like a competition, huh? But these lists, they're all subjective in the end. It's just really interesting to see who the list creator sees as rising stars or potential contenders for the Capricorn Hall of Fame.
I'm game. Let's hear about some of these up-and-comers.
Okay. In the newcomers section, we've got Donna Summer, born New Year's Eve, 1948.
Oh, wow.
Talk about starting the year off with a bang. Her voice and those disco anthems, they definitely left a mark on music history.
Oh, for sure. She was a force on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Betty White, born January 17th, 1922, America's sweetheart, a career that spanned decades. It's like she got even better with age.
Yeah, and that longevity might show us another Capricorn trait, resilience.
Okay.
They don't give up easily.
Right.
They're in it for the long haul, whether it's work, relationships, or personal goals.
Wow.
Betty White and her career, it's proof of that.
I'm starting to see some patterns here.
Yeah.
But we can't forget Martin Luther King Jr., born January 15th, 1929. His impact, it's undeniable, right?
Yeah.
Does his activism fit the typical Capricorn image?
That's where it gets really interesting. On the surface, Capricorns might seem more focused on personal achievement, but King's commitment to social justice, it shows us that their ambition can go towards a bigger purpose, fighting for what they believe in.
Wow, that adds a whole new way to see Capricorn ambition.
Yeah.
It's not just about climbing the ladder. It's about using your drive to actually make a difference. I'm also seeing some names on this list that I don't really know.
The less famous ones that make you curious, right? That's one of the best parts of these lists, finding new people and their stories. Who caught your eye?
Marlene Dietrich, for one. I know the name, but I couldn't tell you much about her.
Marlene Dietrich, born December 27th, 1901, was a German-American actress and singer. She was a true icon, known for those captivating performances and a glamorous style that really challenged norms at the time. And during World War II, she was actively against Nazism, using her platform to entertain troops and spread those anti-Nazi messages. A true Capricorn, fighting for what she believed in.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, now I'm really into these hidden gems on the list, and there's another one, Sir Isaac Newton. I mean, he's a legend, but what's he doing on a list with, modern celebrities?
It shows how powerful these people's legacies are. Newton, born January 4th, 1643, he completely changed how we think about science. His discoveries in physics, they're still studied today, centuries later. It's like a reminder that Capricorns can have an impact that lasts, shaping our understanding of the world for generations.
Okay, I'm seeing a theme here. It's not about fleeting fame. These Capricorns, they're playing the long game, making contributions that really stand the test of time.
For sure.
And speaking of lasting impact, check out this group of musical icons. Elvis Presley, born January 8th, 1935. David Bowie, also born January 8th, but in 1947. And Dolly Parton, January 19th, 1946. And Dave Grohl, January 14th, 1969. Something in the water with those January birthdays.
Maybe it's that Capricorn need to express themselves.
Yeah.
These individuals, they push boundaries in music, creating sounds that defined whole generations. They were always innovating, always changing, always reaching for something new.
You know, it's funny, the person who made this list said they were super excited to share a birthday with the filmmaker Federico Fellini, born January 20th, 1920. That's right on the edge of Capricorn, almost an Aquarius. But maybe that mix of Capricorn ambition and Aquarian unconventionality, that's what makes his film so unique.
It's an interesting thought. It shows how even these dates can get blurry when you're talking about people. There are always layers and complications.
Well, on that note, let's move on to some other interesting people from this top 10 list. What about James Earl Jones?
James Earl Jones, born January 17th, 1931, is an amazing actor. You know his voice right away.
Oh, yeah.
It's Darth Vader and Mufasa.
Right.
That deep voice, it's connected to power and authority, but it's also a voice that has brought so many characters to life, each with their own depth.
Right. It's not just how his voice sounds, it's how he uses it to show emotion, to really connect with people.
Exactly.
That's true talent.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about someone who has definitely caused some controversy. Howard Stern, born January 12th, 1954. How did he end up on this list?
Well, whether you love him or hate him, Howard Stern's impact on radio, on entertainment, it's undeniable, right? He's a master at pushing boundaries, starting conversations, and challenging what's considered normal. And in a way, that lines up with that Capricorn need to leave a mark, to make a statement, even if it makes some people uncomfortable along the way.
Yeah, he's not afraid to ruffle some feathers. And I guess that takes a certain kind of confidence, a determination, qualities you see in Capricorns.
Sure.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot. Actors, athletes, singers, scientists. What connects these very different people?
What's fascinating is that in their own ways, they've all contributed so much to pop culture and entertainment.
Yeah.
They've shaped what we like, started debates, given us something to talk about.
Hmm.
They've left their mark, and that's what brings them together no matter what they do.
And we haven't even gotten to everyone yet.
Yeah.
We still have Skrillex and Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But before we do, let's just take a minute to let all this Capricorn awesomeness sink in. All right, we're back and ready to uncover more of these Capricorn gems.
Yes.
We've already seen how these folks can be like super achievers,
Mm-hmm.
but also like rule breakers
Yeah.
and even activists. What other surprises are hiding in this top 10 list?
Well, it's interesting to think about how some of these Capricorns use their platform, to challenge things and get people talking. Like Lemmy Kilmister,
Oh, yeah.
born December 24th, 1945, the frontman of Motorhead. He was a real rebel, living life on his own terms.
Definitely not your typical goody two-shoes Capricorn, huh?
Right.
But maybe that rebellious streak is just another side of that Saturn influence. It's not always about fitting in. Sometimes it's about breaking down those barriers and making your own way.
Exactly. And speaking of making your own way, let's talk Skrillex.
Oh, yeah.
Born January 15th, 1988. He totally changed electronic dance music with his sound and that drive to push boundaries.
Yeah, Skrillex is a perfect example of how Capricorns can be pioneers. They're not afraid to experiment, to take risks, and to really shake things up.
It's that earth sign practicality mixed with that fierce determination to make their mark. They're not just dreamers, they're builders.
Right.
They take those visions and make them real, often with incredible attention to detail.
Okay, so we've seen how Capricorns can be rebellious, innovative, and even a little controversial.
Yeah.
But we can't forget the ones who have brought joy and laughter into the world.
Oh, for sure.
We talked about Jim Carrey earlier. But what about Seth Meyers, born December 28, 1973? He's another comedian on the list, known for being quick-witted and his take on current events.
Myers is a great example of how Capricorns do well in areas that need smarts and a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Late night comedy is no joke. You need a sharp mind, you got to connect with the audience, and the discipline to keep it up every single night.
Plus, you got to stay up on the news, which probably appeals to that Capricorn need-to-know stuff. They like to be in the loop.
Rah.
Okay, I'm curious about a couple of names we haven't gotten to. Liam Hemsworth and Kate Middleton.
Oh,
They
yeah.
seem like they come from totally different worlds.
Right.
Liam Hemsworth, born January 13th, 1990, known for action movies and those good looks.
Uh-huh.
And then Kate Middleton, born January 9th, 1982, became a global icon after marrying Prince William.
It's like the Capricorn spectrum, from Hollywood star to future queen.
Ripe. But maybe there are some things they have in common. What do you think?
Well, they've both handled that intense public attention with grace and composure.
Hmm.
They've kept a sense of privacy amidst all the chaos, which goes with that Capricorn need for stability and structure.
That's a good point. They both seem really grounded down to earth, even with their high-profile lives.
Yeah.
And they both seem to really value family and tradition,
Yeah.
which are important to Capricorns.
Totally. And speaking of family, it's interesting that Liam Hemsworth comes from a family of actors.
Oh, right.
His brothers, Chris and Luke, they're successful in the industry too. Makes you wonder if there's some shared Capricorn ambition in the family.
Maybe it's genetic. Or maybe it's just that they grew up around creativity and hard work.
Right?
Either way, it's cool to see siblings supporting each other.
For sure. And it reminds us that, astrology is interesting, but it's only part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
How we grow up, our experiences, the choices we make, those all shape who we are.
So it's not all about the stars.
Right. It's about how we deal with the world around us, how we use what we're good at to make our mark.
I like that. It's like we have the power to create our own path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we move on, I want to go back to something you said earlier about Capricorns using their platform for good.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about MLK, but what about other Capricorns who have made a difference?
Well, there's Michelle Obama, born January 17th, 1964.
Okay.
As First Lady, she advocated for education, health, and women's rights. Her work, her voice, it inspired so many people.
Yeah, she's definitely a great example of using your influence to do good.
For
And it's not always about big gestures or political stuff.
Right.
Sometimes it's about being kind in everyday life, the small ways we can help each other.
Absolutely. And that's something we can all try to do, no matter our sign.
So we've talked about Capricorns who are rebels,
Yeah.
innovators, comedians, actors, even a future queen. Is there anything these people can't do?
Well, they might not be known for being super spontaneous or carefree.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That Saturn influence can sometimes make them a little too serious or careful.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
But someone has to be the responsible one, right? They keep us grounded. They're the ones we can always count on.
totally. And their loyalty and dependability, those make them great friends, partners, people you can work with.
Okay, so maybe they're not always the life of the party, but they're the ones you want in your corner.
For sure.
Okay, we're getting close to the end here, but we have to talk about Dolly Parton.
Oh, yes. Dolly Parton, born January 19th, 1946. She's like the ultimate Capricorn icon.
Right.
She's a singer, songwriter, actress, businesswoman, and philanthropist. She's changed the country music world, challenged ideas, and used her success to give back.
And she does it all with that amazing charm and humor. She shows you can be ambitious and successful without losing your fun side.
Absolutely. That's a good lesson for all of us.
Well, we've covered a lot.
We have.
And I feel like I get these Capricorn personalities in a whole new way now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one name left, and it's a big one. Elvis Presley.
Elvis, the king of rock and roll, born January 8th, 1935. He's a really interesting one to look at through this Capricorn lens. He was so ambitious, driven to succeed, and he reached a level of fame that very few people ever have.
But he also had his struggles and controversies, right? His personal life was kind of messy, and his later years were tough with health problems. Does that fit the typical image of Capricorn success?
It reminds us that even the most successful people are human, with their own flaws and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And maybe Elvis's story shows us the other side of Capricorn ambition, that potential for burning out and needing balance.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in chasing success,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to remember that real fulfillment comes from living a good life, one that's true to who we are.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up looking at these Capricorn icons, we should think about what their stories teach us, both the good and the bad.
That's a perfect way to lead into our final thoughts.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep, let's take a second to gather our thoughts and get ready for our big finish. All right, we're back. Ready for the final part of our Capricorn deep dive.
Right.
It's Been quite a ride, huh?
It really has.
We've laughed with the comedians, rocked out with the musicians, even gotten a peek into royal life.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict? What have we learned about these Capricorns?
Well, one thing that really sticks out is how different they all are.
Uh-huh.
We've seen how that Capricorn ambition can go in so many directions. They're not just like CEOs and politicians, they're artists, athletes, activists, entertainers.
Hmm.
They're pushing boundaries, breaking records, and using their voices to actually make a difference.
It's like they've got this inner drive, this need to do something that matters, whatever that is for them, and they're willing to put in the work.
Exactly. They're not afraid of hard work. Actually, they often like it.
Yeah.
They're the ones staying late, putting in the extra time, always learning and growing.
So maybe they're not always the most relaxed people,
Mm-hmm.
but they're definitely the ones you want on your team
Oh, for sure.
when you need to get stuff done.
Absolutely. And they're so loyal and dependable.
Yeah.
Those are the qualities that make them such good friends, partners, people you can rely on.
Okay, so they're not perfect,
Right.
but who is? Even the super successful Capricorns, like Elvis, had their struggles.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're all human. We all have our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to remember from all this. It's not about putting Capricorns on some pedestal or sticking to stereotypes.
Right.
It's about seeing how complex people are and
Yeah.
appreciating what each person brings to the table,
You know what? I started this thinking we'd just be scratching the surface with celebrity trivia.
Huh?
But we went way deeper than that.
We
We talked about ambition, success, rebellion, even the downsides of achievement. It's been really eye-opening.
It's amazing what you find when you dig a little deeper, right?
Yeah.
I hope our listeners have felt that too, like discovering new things about these famous people
Hmm.
and maybe even learning something about their own Capricorn traits.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Because this isn't just about famous people. It's about understanding ourselves and each other better. It's about celebrating what makes us different and seeing the things we all share.
And maybe it's about finding inspiration in these people's stories, even if we're not Capricorns ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe we all have a little bit of that Capricorn ambition inside us, just waiting to come out.
I love that. It's like a challenge to step up and go after what we want with that same drive.
And to remember that success isn't just about reaching the top, it's about the whole journey.
Mm,
The obstacles we overcome, the people we meet along the way.
well said. Well, there you have it, everyone. A whirlwind tour of the world of Capricorn personalities.
Uh-huh.
We laughed, we learned, and maybe we're even feeling inspired to embrace our inner Capricorn, whatever that means for each of us.
And remember, whether you're a Capricorn or not, the stars are just a starting point.
Mm.
It's up to each of us to create our own story, our own path, and leave our mark on the world.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into this amazing world around you. Until next time.